Good evening, Monadnock Region, and welcome to another episode of FOMO Tonight, the Monadnock Region's only locally focused weekly comedy podcast. I am your host, Chris DiLoretto, here in our Space Lounge with my fabulous co-hosts,
Zoe Rotenheinsman
and Sam Abbott.
Now, this week in the Monadnock Region, we have another, what we might call, with capital letters, very special episode. You'll note that this is episode 39, and the most recent episode that you've seen, which is practically a month ago, our bad. We've had some special bonus episodes in between, but not so much our regular, kind of space lounge, living room, hangout vibe since then. But that was episode 37, and this is episode 39. And, we did this once before. I forget which one it was.
It was Triple X.
It was Triple X. So, yes. Wow, we couldn't even go 10 more episodes. We went 29 episodes without a problem. Had to skip episode 30, and then we could only get 7 more before we. And when I say we, let me just be clear. Fine audience, fine residents of this region. I am mostly speaking of myself here. It's my fault. We had to shelve this episode. And so we canned it. It's secret. It's not going to be heard. It was even worse than the episode 30. In episode 30.
Episode 30 is tame in comparison.
I have said in the past that you never know. Like sometime down the line, special bonus material, like you might hear snippets of episode 30. Like we might actually release those, The main problem with episode 30 is that I didn't feel right about 2 negative episodes in a row, especially when there were a lot of people really mad at me for being negative at the time. And it didn't seem right. I don't want to convey only negativity all the time. The content itself was not necessarily that offensive in episode 30. I still stand by everything I said in episode 38. But I was a little too aggressive, and I'm really sorry. I was going to edit myself maybe, and I would have had to bleep out too much. The problem was, I'll explain what the problem was though. Without getting heated, I'm in a much better frame of mind. I'm being peaceful and loving towards even those who make me very angry. But I was angry at the time because, we were hot in the middle of this issue that's, still kind of ongoing about how at the high school, Conval, they don't really let you go to the bathroom in a civilized manner. You have to, it's an electronic system. You have to log your bathroom breaks. You only get 3 a day aside from the time that you get in between classes, which as everyone knows is not a very long amount of time. There were multiple issues. I was angry about so many sides of this issue because the fact that this is the state of affairs in and of itself, I think is rotten and awful and speaks of great decay and despair. And it makes me think that our institutions, which I kind of already think this anyways, but I don't want to think this, that our institutions like public schools are in some cases and in some ways gone beyond the point of repair. And I hate to say that, but things like this make me think that. Don't feed me with things like this, It's just wrong. So I'm mad about that. I think it's barbaric. I think in the excuses that I hear about how they can't maintain order and all this stuff, I just think that that's a failure of management. And that they shouldn't be admitting that out loud because it means that they're not, regardless of who it is at the school who's saying this, at what level, but anyone at the school who's saying we cannot control the situation without resorting to this situation is not doing a good job at their job. And so I'm upset about that. And I was very heated about that at the time. And I was also mad about the way that the turn that the discussion took, because this poor student who came to the Peterborough group in earnest and sincerely and, putting herself out there as a young person, as an under 18 person, without breaking any rules, without swearing, without being in any way as aggressive as I was on the program that we shelved.
Not aggressive at all. Not disrespectful or aggressive at all.
No, very nice. All very within the bounds. Very much what we want to see in terms of like a civic-minded youth who's coming to the community and saying, "Do you think this is right?" You know, and her post was deleted twice, and it turned out that it was deleted because the moderator decided to call the school and get the school side and then side with the school. And she just decided that it sounded like the school had a reasonable explanation and therefore this girl cannot speak. And that to say that was a wrong decision is not sufficient, right? So I was mad about that. And then I was mad because, a former school board president was just saying some, frankly, just hateful things about kids. And his attitude was very much basically like they're animals and they should fend for themselves. And I just find that appalling. So I'm speaking all of this calmly, and as a result of all of this, the uncensored Facebook group was founded, which people have already accused me and Goldman Ad Knock or whatever as being behind it. We are not. I am an admin. But Blair Weiss founded the group. He asked me to join the group. He asked me to support the group, and he asked me to serve as an admin for the group. But none of this, and I do support the group. I think it's a good idea. I hope it takes over the other group. I really do. But this is not a company initiative of Goldman Ad Knock. This is a citizens initiative. But so all this stuff came out, and it was very, very fresh last Thursday. By the way, this is Thursday, September 22nd. So I went off and I called out, what's that?
Happy fall.
Happy fall. It's the equinox today. It's been very rainy, kind of crappy, depressing out there. But anyway, so I apologize for depriving everyone of an episode with my vitriol. It was a little, again, I really didn't say anything that I would walk back. I just don't want it public, I guess. That makes sense. If any of you know me privately, you've probably heard me say the things that I said on the episode. And you know what? If you want to stop me on the street and ask me what I said, I'll probably tell you. But I was naming names. I was being personal. And again, I think I had some just cause to be personal because it was people personally saying things. You know what I mean? And you are responsible for what you say, and you are responsible for the job that you do. You're responsible for your own performance, both as a human being and in your profession. Results matter. Results matter much more than intentions and your good heart and your Yankee humility or whatever. But
it is a little ironic, I have to say, considering the free speech issues of that post, and also that we participated tonight in the library's Salman Rushdie readout. Delightful event. I guess it's all right if we're censoring our own episode, though.
Self-censorship is okay. It's some might call self-censorship discretion. It
still makes me chuckle a little bit, though, considering the timing.
No, it is. And I do. I am a free speech absolutist. But I also believe that I am responsible for my words and for my performance in my job. And I didn't need to be on video that angry, I guess, is really what it comes down to. I don't need, as I said to these guys before this episode, I was, one way to put it, and some people will get really upset by this because they take everything very seriously, but I was in some ways inadvertently a little bit channeling my inner Alex Jones in the, I was yelling, I don't think I was quite as red-faced, and I wasn't claiming any conspiracy, you know what I mean? I wasn't saying anything that was beyond the pale, but you know what I'm saying? I had that fury, that righteous anger, and I forget who it was. I saw something on Facebook not that long ago, which was just that, like, righteous anger is the absolute worst kind of anger. And that's counterintuitive, but I kind of think it's true. It can be the most destructive because you believe you have right on your side and you can therefore do and say anything. And it's very hard to dissuade. It's very hard to turn away. Again, and oftentimes you might be right. You might have righteous anger and be correct about it, but I think it rarely leads to good results. And so I'm going to keep my righteous anger in this case between the three of us here. And we're going to can that episode. And now you all know how I feel about the issue anyway. In a more concise and polite manner. And if you wish to have further dialogue on it, I'm happy to have it. I'm happy to talk about it. I've calmed down a lot. I've grown a lot in the last week. From the experience, and the humbling that I've gone through by having to censor myself because of myself, has brought me to a new place in life, a place where I think that I can talk about this without challenging anybody to a fight.
But one thing that you said on that episode that is now lost, that I also want to bring up is
we do have the recordings.
To the public that I want the public to think about, and maybe you've changed your mind on this, and I'll learn this right now. But we talked about the school board elections being held at some random time, unrelated to other elections, and how that was going to be like something we would look to find out more about and potentially change. I don't want to forget about that.
Yeah, I do want to change that, and I know it'll be difficult because we have our Conval district elections, and so that's everything from, the school board to like budget things in March, and we have our town meeting in May. The reason that we have the school elections in March is because that's when all of the other towns in the Conval school district have their town meeting. And we talked about this on the show earlier this year, to say, why is Peterborough's election in May? And it's like written in our charter or whatever that we're going to do this. But why? I don't know. When everyone else does it I don't know.
Everyone but Stoddard.
It's right. Stoddard. Yes. Good for you, Stoddard. Not the future, but thanks anyways. So
I mean, they're there, but I don't know.
They're there.
That's a read.
That's their town motto. Stoddard. We're here.
We're here. Exactly. So, I think that one of the reasons that perhaps people who are not well suited to the role end up on the school board is because we have these elections at off times and nobody goes. Fucking nobody goes, and they don't go because of it, and it skews things. For that reason, and I don't know what's to be done about it because I'm guessing we would have to fight against all the other towns to bring it to May, right? Because I don't think it could be done, honestly. Even despite my great dreams of Imperial Peterborough, right? We don't have the power yet to actually force them all to agree with that.
Right.
We just don't. Frankly, if we really wanted to be smart, we would move our town meeting to March and be just like the other towns.
It would make sense.
I think it would make sense both for town meeting and to improve the legitimacy, frankly, of these school board elections. Because if you brought in like Jimmy Carter, like a UN election monitors, like as if we were like a country in Africa or something, to monitor this school board election, it would be like, yeah, okay, but like only the regime came to vote, and like it was like 1% of the town, and this is not a good election, like nobody stuffed the ballot box, but like it wasn't, there's no mandate from the people in this because the people weren't here.
I'm very curious to know how many people do vote in that election, considering also we talked in this last episode, that the missing episode about the primary results and how many more people voted in the primary than in town meeting.
Even than in town meeting. That's
even town meeting is where you can like directly choose the, people leadership for your town that's really going to affect you. I bet it can't possibly be even close to who comes out for town meeting. So it's got to be like a minuscule number.
Yeah. And to that point, because that was another thing, because the sad thing about last week's episode is that the first half of it, where we talked about elections, even though I was clearly agitated throughout it, was actually fine and was probably a lot of good things were said. I don't know. One of those things, though, is a recommendation that I think it's a sad consequence of. Some of it is television commercials, because there were actually people on the ballot in primary day that had Boston market TV commercials and YouTube TV commercials that children can recite, So there's that, I think, that influences. I think that drives people out to vote, is more media presence, right? And then I do think a lot of it, and this is the part that makes me sad, media presence I get. I wish we could afford commercials for town meeting, but we can't. But I understand there's nothing you can do about that. That's always going to drive more people. That's not like some kind of fault in people's character that they see things on TV and it reminds them of things. Like, that's normal. What I think is sad, though, is that I think that there's more people voting on primary day because that represents the people that are really invested in like the two-party system and in their party winning something. And personally, I don't think that approach is like working for anybody in America at all, and you should abandon it. But even if you cling to that, even if you can't let go, and that's okay. I understand. I have little quirks like that when it comes to politics myself. Things I know I should let go of that I can't. I understand. But you shouldn't view the party primaries as that much more important than town meeting, that the turnout has that much of a discrepancy. Because, guys, as Zoe alluded to a moment ago, Washington's a clusterfuck. There's very little legislation coming out of there that, Concord is also kind of a clusterfuck in different ways. And it changes all the time because we turn over because we have governor elections and all the state house elections, and it's so huge, right? Hundreds and hundreds of people in our state legislature. It's crazy, right? So, what the two representatives from Peterborough out of 411 or however many there are can do by themselves, okay, is going to be a little bit limited, right? Unless they're in there for many years and truly build up a base of power, Lyndon Johnson style. Which, Jonah, if you're listening, please do that. Work with Peter, of course. Peter has a base as well. I'm not trying to diminish Peter in any way, our local railroad baron. But I'm looking at you, Jonah. Build a base in there over many years. Don't leave. Just stay there and just build your circle. Build House of, not even Lyndon Johnson, like what's the guy's name? Kevin Spacey in House of Cards. Frank
I wanted to call him Lester Burnham.
Frank Underwood. Frank Underwood, Jonah. That show went off the rails when he became vice president, but when he was in the House, it was exciting. Do House of Cards in the House. Do it. Okay. Anyways, aside from somebody doing that, though, it's really difficult to make the argument that, your representative, to there is going to have, maybe it's not less, but more of an impact than the local officials that you can elect, who are going to be deciding your zoning issues, your development issues, your town emergency issues. Some years the select board doesn't really have to decide very much of consequence. In other years, they're deciding what behavior we can do in our local businesses. So And you can find these people. You can find your select board. You can go to your zoning board meeting and nobody's going to be in that room. And if you want to speak, you will have a chance to speak because there's nobody to like be in line in front of you. You know, it's like an open door, all that stuff. So please care about town meeting. It can impact things at least as much as the other elections do. Side rant, but that was in the last episode, and we're bringing it to
re-ranting.
Yeah, it's worth re-ranting. It is. That one shouldn't be lost time. And neither should our congratulations to Jonah Wheeler for his incredible upset victory as the highest vote getter in Hillsborough 33 Democratic primary. And again, we are not trying to discount the Republicans. In fact, we intend to have a debate that includes the Republicans before the general election because we want their ideas to be heard. However, as I've alluded to in the past, it's like in The Wire, when the entire election story is really just the story of the Democratic primary, because the general election for mayor of Baltimore doesn't matter because they're going to elect the Democrat. Okay? Tommy Carcetti. Hell yeah. Peterborough's like that. Okay? It's The Wire, guys. All right? And Peter Leishman is Tommy Carcetti. Jonah Wheeler is, I forget her name, but the hot city council president. And he's coming in behind him. And yeah, they're they won the primary, they won the election. It's going to happen. No offense to anybody. But yes, congrats to Jonah. It was, pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. We're very excited about it. If you haven't seen it, check out our conversation with him. It was a very nice chat. Check out our Peterborough Parlay 2, where all the candidates got a chance to say their stuff. So
check out The Wire.
Check out The Wire. Watch The Wire. Exactly. Because listen, you know how it is, guys. Sometimes, like, especially if it's an episode with just me and Zoe, like, we could end up going down the path of prestige television again. And you should really brush up on these shows so that you know what we're talking about. I'm telling you, they are the literature of our time, and The Wire is the finest among them. Almost everyone agrees. So even Barack Obama, for all you Peterborough liberals out there, Barack Obama says The Wire is his favorite show. Okay.
Wow.
So if it's good enough for Barack Obama, it's good enough for you. So yeah. So that's that. Now that we've gotten through all that, we have some very, very sad news to share. Sam Abbott sells homes, gets hacked. Our compadre, over the last year and several months. When was it? June or July that you came on? I don't remember. You don't remember? I don't remember either.
I remember we had a meeting with Sam over close to Christmas. So we're getting really close to 2 years. Our first meeting with Sam.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
It's round that.
Yeah. Yeah. So sad to report that Sam is moving on. He has had to deal with so much on this program, especially. And, who knows? He might have been hacked because of this. He might have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in real estate sales from people that I offended. It would have lost more if we released last week's episode. And he has decided that he can't take the heat, and he's going to retire to greener pastures. No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't even argue with me. No, I'm being unkind. I'm joking to mask my feelings of sorrow within. But Sam, tell us a little bit about your departure. this is amicable, guys. We didn't push Sam out, and Sam isn't actually throwing us under the bus that we know of.
No, absolutely not. No, it's full plate. I get too much going on, and so it's trying to focus more, and things are continuing to grow in more ways than one, and so I got to kind of direct my attention a little bit more toward the things that are necessarily priorities in my life.
Completely understandable. And those of you out there, I know we go about this with such panache that we make it all look very, very easy and effortless, in fact. But the truth is, a lot of work goes into, everybody most of the time focuses on Goldman Ad Knock, and a ton of work goes into Goldman Ad Knock. But Monadnock Underground is also a shit ton of work. And that's, that kind of has a separate base of users, almost a separate, not a base of users. I work in software, guys. I speak in bases of users, but not a user base, but a audience. It's a slightly, it overlaps, but it's a slightly different crowd. And then I think listens to this podcast all the time. And that is its own separate set of a lot of work. And we have day jobs. Zoe runs a gang, and we do this for free. And yes, somebody out there's going to be like, but they charge for ads and they make book sales. Yes, that is true. But, I'm sure you could find, I think aren't our tax filings have to be public as a company? I don't know. I think you can find, we are an LLC. I think you can find tax records, somewhere, for us. And you can see that we do not make any money, and we do not take any money either personally. In fact, we typically put money into this business, and we don't pay, or we don't even reimburse ourselves over the years. So it's a lot. And as we know, besides getting hacked, Sam does sell homes, and that's a busy job. Sam's got 3 kids. 2 of them are little, and which I remember that, and thank God those days are behind me. And but not for him, because he's only 32, right? He's a young fellow. And as we never cease to remind him, very, very, very young lad. No, but it is 32 isn't that much younger than we are, but we do. There have been moments, usually behind the scenes, not so much on the episodes, but where like Zoe and I are like basically exactly the same age, so we tend to assume everyone else is as well. And so we will talk about, with things, especially when you go back to childhood in the 90s and stuff, 6 years actually does make a big difference in your experience, So we don't always have the shared things. And then we're like, oh yeah, how old are you again? You're not an older millennial, middle millennial, which is better than being a younger millennial, frankly. But
those 6 years of kid growth make a lot of difference too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, so Sam's the same age as my younger sister, who's the youngest in our family, and now I don't really know. I don't really think of her as that very young anymore, except for when certain things come up, and then I make fun of her for being 32. But when we were young, that seemed like a huge difference,
I was just mostly talking about like in 6 years, Sam's like tiny kids will be like,
oh yeah. When you're 38, kids, yeah.
When you reach our advanced age.
Dude, they don't even need supervision anymore. It's great. I mean, you know this because you have one older kid, but they'll be, they'll be getting up there, and just let them go free and stuff. And, then we'll get them back on the podcast. Actually, I've been saying that, cause I will admit, Sam came to us and, very, very graciously and let us know that this change was going to have to be made. And, I immediately moved to start haggling. You know what I mean? Like, well, what does leaving really mean? I mean, like, are you taking a break, or can I talk you into taking a break? I didn't win that argument, but
this episode of the podcast though was like a result of your haggling.
It is, yeah. So, I mean, Sam is in real estate, of course. He knows how to bargain.
He stepped down. He did the step down move. That was his negotiation tactic, right?
Exactly. I'm going to ask him to not quit, and I'm going to get him to do one last podcast episode. So in a sense, I did win. But anyways, but part of that too is I'm like, dude, because even before Sam was an official partner with us, he was very much involved in Monadnock Underground, was published, maybe as a couple of different names. I don't think you actually came out as Sam Abbott, the writer, until, I'm not going to say what they are. People have to guess. But he's published in maybe 2 collections under other names.
Yeah.
And you've been on the website before, and so this all started with the writing connection, and events that we have done. Sam has been a part of. Of course, Sam was taking the Space Lounge live. Couldn't have been done without Sam. So I'm still like, all right, but Sam, you know how difficult it is for us to get actors when we do skits and things. So I'm still going to call you for that. And, we might ask you to do this. And then I just told him, I was like, once a year, I'm going to just ask you to come back. Straight up,
I just figured something out, though. I just figured this all out. This is so that you can win prizes in the Monadnock Underground seasons, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah,
that's what this is all about.
I was so disappointed with my honorary mention that.
Yeah. Well, so
I want to be in the book. God damn it! So.
You will be in the book. You would have been in the book anyways. But we didn't do a special awards episode this time around. But in the spring season for Monadnock Underground, we gave out a few awards. We gave out a dual poetry award. We gave out 3 awards too. I think they were all short stories. And then we gave Sam, who had a really fucking good short story in there. But I was like, we can't give an award to us, right? I mean, it's a conflict of interest. You can't do it. We would lose all credibility and all that, But I said it anyways. I put it in the thing. I was like, the conflict of interest honorable mention goes to Sam Abbott. If Sam had quit.
I insisted that this happened because I thought you deserved an award, and I didn't care about the conflict of interest.
Yeah, that didn't make it matter, but I did. I did. I wasn't going to do that. So he got the honorable mention. If he had quit like 4 months ago, he would have won. He would have won one of the 3 awards. So we did take that away.
He's planning for fall season.
That's right.
He's ready.
Yeah.
Ready to win.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be harassing Sam in the future. But the other thing, and this, I should have mentioned this kind of like right up front at the beginning, but because people really should know this. Our iteration, our incarnation of Goldman Ad Knock, in which we took the reins from the formidable, awesome foundations that Kim Graham had built and ran Goldman Ad Knock, would never have happened were it not for Sam. Sam is responsible for all of this, and I guess that might make you guys not buy houses from him, some of you. But those of you who hate this, and there are some of you out there. But this is, that's just such a big deal. And it's, in my mind, in my narcissistic delusions of grandeur mind, I would term that historic. That will go down in history as Sam was the one who had the idea and went to Kim and was like, this will be a good fit. Like we were even aware of Goldman Ad Knock, and it never occurred to us that we would take it over. And we knew that Kim wanted someone to take it over, and we just overlooked it completely. And Sam brought that to the table. He went to Kim and, made the pitch. And here we are today. So Sam, for that and for everything else over the last, however the hell long it's been, thank you sincerely from the bottom of our hearts. And, we're going to miss you tremendously. There's going to be a big hole here in the Space Lounge. You know, we're going to retire your chair. No one's allowed to. So we're going to rope off that chair in the lounge, and people can look at it, but they can't sit on it from now on. That'll be the thing. And as for you, viewers and listeners, and what you can expect, you know, Zoe and I have had many, you know, 2-person episodes in the past, and that will be the normal format. We have no plans whatsoever to replace Sam. Sam is not being replaced either as a host on the program or in his role in the company. Now, and if you're out there and you're sitting there thinking like, my God, I would give my left nut to be a part of Monadnock Underground, Goldman Ad Knock, you know, fine. Reach out and make your pitch. You know, if you're that passionate, I will certainly hear you out, you know. But our plan for right now is that Sam is irreplaceable, and we're not going to try. What we might do on the program for fun is from time to time, I don't think it's something that we could pull off every week, but perhaps once a month, I think we're going to bring somebody in, not as like an interview guest like we do sometimes, but as an actual guest host. Like they will join us for the entire program and add their color commentary to the mix. We'll introduce you guys to some of our perhaps some of our Monadnock Underground partners, you know, going back a long ways. You know, we'll definitely get Palmucci on here for a full episode. You know, I mean, that guy, you know, I went on his podcast, his old podcast, which was canceled a couple of times, and not because of him, but because of his co-host. So R.I.P. Fresh Gills. But I went on there a couple of times. We had John on when we had a variety show way back, right? Didn't we? I thought we did. Maybe we didn't.
I don't know if I've ever appeared on a podcast episode with John.
Interesting. Okay. Wow. So so not only are we way overdue, but he owes us even more than I thought he does. So yeah, so we'll get John on. Maybe we can get Jared in here, you know. I think it would be pretty fun, you know. Maybe we can drag Dan Cesny on here and force him to talk about adult things. But Dan, you know, come on the show. No rocks, no fire towers, no kids. I want to talk about the gritty side of life. Watch a couple episodes of The Wire before you come on, and then come on next. Yeah, it'll be great. But we also have plans. Actually, in fact, I haven't even told these guys this, but I did. I was just casually chatting with our friend Jonah this week, and you know, we had, you know, sort of an understanding prior to this that, you know, were he to take office, you know, a huge part of Jonah's campaign, a huge part of his entire message is promoting not just communication, but like ongoing, active, dynamic dialogue between the representatives and the citizens, and really, you know, shit like we do with the Peterborough parlays, where we really dig deep into issues, where we ask questions that are unusual to ask and things like that. You know, so part of that though is we want Goldman Ad Knock to help facilitate that, because that is, you know, part of our mission as a company is promoting the civic life of this region. And yeah, we hope Peter does it. Any other, you know, and I say this to any of the other towns too, who are, you know, probably stopped listening many episodes ago because of our Peterborough centrism. But if you're an elected representative from Temple, you know, wherever else, and you want to write for us and you want to come on this program, reach out. We would love to have you. We are not just favoring Peterborough people. We would love to add you to our family, to our extended family, right? But, you know, as far as Jonah goes, like, I think we're going to have him probably writing a column for the website once a month, and I think we'll have him live on the program once every couple of months to stay connected with everybody. And of course, you know, not for nothing, but we will talk with him about things that other places just aren't going to ask him about, and aren't going to give him, not just ask him about, they're not going to give him the opportunity to talk about, and that's what we're going to do. So stuff like that you can expect to see. Of course, the regular guest episodes that we'll have, but we'll be mixing it up a little bit, I guess, is the moral of the story. But Sam cannot be replaced, and he will not be. That is that. I don't know. Did I leave anything out? Is there anything else that we need to? Do you have any parting words for the people?
Not particularly, no.
Call them up if you need to buy or sell a house.
Well,
I'll say it for you.
My first thought was, anybody wants to buy or sell a home in the
Yeah, that's kind of. I was kind of opening the door for you there, but I'll say it for you. I bought my house with Sam's help. If I haven't said that on the air before, so I'm not just a spokesperson. I'm a client here. House Club for Peterborough. But for real, he is a fantastic realtor, and I know that there are nothing but great things in the future for him professionally. And if you don't want to be left out on that, and you are buying or selling your house, give Sam a call. Maybe, and who knows, maybe he even has a second career going around to townhouses and places like that, giving cybersecurity talks, and telling people how not to get hacked.
Passion project on the side.
Giving back to the community,
Right,
Dan Patron does all his giving and stuff, but Sam keeps people safe.
That's right. Security.
Sorry, were you going to say something?
I was gonna do one final segue here for Sam. Speaking of passion.
Shit.
And Sam giving back to the community.
What are we going to do, Sam?
What was I going to do?
What are we going to do?
What are we going to do in this episode?
What are we going to close it out with? One last time.
Oh, yes, thank you. Okay. Misconnections. That's what we're going to do one last time. Because we're going to look at Sam's going to help some more people find love before he rides off into the great sunset.
And we have not done this in so long. We haven't even looked at it in so long.
At this point.
Oh, wow.
So, Sam, I feel like you should get first dibs for whichever one calls out to you right now.
Okay. Let's have a look here. I got to judge it based on the name, so I got one that's pretty compelling, but let me scan.
God, I got 3 supermarkets right off the bat. I love the supermarket ones.
Me too. They're the best.
I just found a 4th supermarket.
There's another good one too. It's a toss-up. I have
just you do them all, Sam. Just do one.
Yeah, snag one. What are you grabbing?
Where'd the first one run off to? Hang on. It was good too. Where the fuck is it? There aren't that many on here. Oh, here we go. Okay, so Redhead at Broad Street Golf.
Nice.
That's a strong title, I thought. Redhead at Broad Street Golf, meaning golf gas station. I'm assuming for anybody that's not in the loop.
Yeah, right.
Things, living in Peterborough and all. My God, just wanted to tell you how stunning you were this morning. That's kind of a letdown. Again, I didn't pre-read that, but good title.
Yeah.
My other one. Let me grab one more.
Yeah.
Gal with a bison tattoo.
I picked that one up too. That's a good one.
A long story with a short story, he says. I'm assuming it's a he. I shouldn't, but I did. You were at the table next to mine with your boyfriend and another couple. This was at Riley's place in May. It says Milford, New Hampshire, by the way. I sat alone and was wearing a black hat. I spoke briefly to your table when the band's singer asked about what songs to play. We both knew the band. Your name might start with an N. I take pictures and would love to take your picture. If you do find this, to confirm, name the band we saw.
Wow.
There you
I gotta say, I always love it when people are like doing this misconnection and they're, my God, I know it's a long shot. I hope I can find you. And if you wish to respond, you must pass this test. I mean, couldn't this girl just show her bison tattoo? Like, how many of them are there? Real easy proof right there, guy. You know. But actually, I just want to say before we go into another, and this is a great time to plug. So this misconnection happened at Riley's place in Milford, which is where Chad, our sound lord producer, his band is playing in just a couple of weeks. By the time this comes out, actually, it will be this weekend, October 1st at night at Riley's place in Milford. Coming to the Monadnock region with the Dad Rock. Hot Dad Summer might technically be over now, but it lives on in our hearts.
Milford.
And it lives on at Riley's place on 10-1.
No chance. Where is Riley's place?
Never been there. I guess it's fairly new.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yes.
But we're going to find it, guys, together in just a couple of days. And you never know. Photographer and girl with an N might be there looking for love. That's a good one.
All right, you have one, Chris, or shall I go?
Yeah, well, I wanted to just read this poor man. Again, we assume it's a man. I don't think lesbians write like this, but maybe. This is in Swansea, so also relatively local, within a half an hour, even though we don't consider that Monadnock region. No offense, Monadnock School District. Actually, offense intended. You didn't deserve that name. We didn't give permission. I don't know. There should have been a lawsuit. But anyways, this is in Market Basket in Swansea. Again, my favorite supermarket connections. Very simple one here. But woman in yellow t-shirt and jeans, I definitely thought you were attractive and wish to get to know you better. Long shot with this and probably shouldn't. Had a little second thoughts at the end, but clicked submit anyways.
Posted 2 hours ago.
Oh, wow. That's a new one.
Nice.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. So if you were in Market Basket in Swansea a week ago, or less than a week ago, on Thursday the 22nd, yellow t-shirt and jeans, hot, some guy was looking at you, he made a message about you on Craigslist. Find him. Find love. Find love.
What were they even shopping for?
I want to find that guy again.
He might be in here.
I have one simply titled Heidi. This is in Danbury. Okay, I need to take a deep breath because this is all one sentence. Heidi from the country store. Anyone know if she's dating or married? She's a pretty girl. This is interesting because it's one of those ones where it's like, you know her name and where she works. Ask her out. We've been through this before. But also, this one, like, usually they're addressed to the person, right? This one's more like, anyone know Heidi?
Anyone
out there? Which I find a unique twist on the genre.
I have one that sounds really bizarre and sad. Should I do that or should I skip it?
Yeah, what the hell? Let me switch it up a little bit.
All right, this is in Nashua. This is looking for Rachel N. in Nashua.
Oh.
Looking for my son's mom, Rachel N. Medical news about him. Blonde, very cute, used to hang by Churchside Market. Put the name of the person who introduced us or what my roommate's name was in Nashua. Please don't flag. This is important medical information about our son.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, but this is another one, though. It doesn't really make sense. Like, if Rachel finds out about this, why would she have to prove that she's Rachel? Like, wouldn't he know? Like, I don't. send a selfie? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm baffled by this a little bit. I don't know. I hope this isn't real.
Yeah.
It
Maybe if
probably
they're
is.
doing like the what if she doesn't want him to have her email address and like is doing the anonymous Craigslist mail thing?
Maybe.
I don't know. There's probably a reason that they're not in touch. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. No, probably. It doesn't sound like a good situation, though. So, not really a love connection here, but I hope that the connection is made.
Did they just like take them off after a period of time, or what? I mean, it only goes
I think
back.
they just stay there forever, and they just go down the list.
Yeah, I think you can keep going.
I think. I mean, I don't know about forever. I mean, I guess there probably is a time limit. Like maybe it's like 6 months or something.
Mine just go. It after August 10th. It goes to more.
Oh yeah, August 10th.
Areas.
Yeah, that's what I see that.
Oh yeah, okay. Huh.
Bullshit, and they're all in mass.
Yeah, that's weird. Huh.
That is weird. All right. Well, I have one more grocery store one just to like bring it back to a better place here.
Less disturbing things. Yeah.
This one's called Saturday the 10th at Market Basket. This is the Nashua Market Basket. We were both waiting near the pizza chef. You wore an American flag shirt, very nice, with white pants. I was wearing a maroon ball cap. We were looking at each other and smiling too.
That's so nice.
He's not asking for her to pass the test.
I picked that one out too. I like that as well. Yeah, this is a very happy one.
Yeah.
This isn't really nearby, but also another very simple one in a supermarket. It's in Concord, but in the Hannaford. Gorgeous mother of two. Beautiful blonde in Hannaford with two little ones. Lovely smile. Told her she looked like she had her hands full. Nice, wholesome. Very nice. I like hot moms too.
That's the line that guys use on my wife too when she has two kids.
Oh yeah.
You got your hands full. That's your favorite.
You gotta get a new line, dudes, because that's like, what do you say to that? Yup.
Exactly.
Sure do.
I feel like that line is so bad. It would be like if you were hitting on your barista by saying, working hard or hardly working?
It is the same vibe.
It's the same, like, oh, wow, never thought of that one before, buddy. Yeah. That's date.
Let's date.
And for the record, and I've said this on the show before, because this has become, for some reason, a controversial thing in society, it is okay to hit on your barista without being, as long as you are not gross or aggressive, and you don't say lines like "got your hands full, working hard, hardly working" or something like that. You can do it though. It is permissible. So
you have one more, Sam?
Yeah. I'm looking at them.
Can I throw out one more Market Basket one, even though it's in Salem? But I just love these Market Basket. Let me just say, Market Basket, company that I worked for a time and had a very good experience working for, frankly. I have a very high opinion, and I've been in the grocery industry my whole life in one way or another. And Market Basket is a gem of New England, and it was rated the #1 supermarket in the whole country for dealing with inflation by its shoppers, which is really interesting. So Market Basket is getting nationwide attention for being awesome, which is great. It's a great company, great supermarket. And in fact, somebody who knows supermarkets and how supermarkets should be run, they are the best run supermarket. They are the cheapest. They have the best shelves. They have the best staff. They have the best everything. So go to Market Basket. A little commercial. This episode was not sponsored by Market Basket, but I'm giving them a plug anyway. Anyways, this is in Salem, but I'm just doing it for the Market Basket reason. Yesterday morning, Wednesday, at about 10:30, you and I had a conversation about buying coffee, talking about how we take bags of ground peats from the back of the shelf for freshness. It was a very nice conversation, but too brief. I'd like to talk more. Please contact me.
All right, I got one. Walmart, Summersworth. I had seen you in the store. I needed to grab something to change into. Was headed to the beach. You were with a few friends. While I was getting to my car, I heard you and your buddies talking about me. What was I doing in the car? I'd love to chat.
Here's that guy. What was I doing in the car?
What are any of us doing in our cars?
I mean, really.
Oh, that's funny.
That one I almost think could be written by a woman.
It
Just
might have been
because
that one. Yeah.
I found one written by a woman. I'm sure of it.
Really?
I really think so.
Okay.
She used a semicolon and kind of used it correctly. And there's a smiley face that looks, I don't know. So this is Malcolm in Nashua.
Okay, here we go.
That's what the title is, right?
Yeah.
Malcolm, would you like to be friends? It might be fun to hang out again, semicolon. Do you remember the name of the song we danced to this past Saturday? Smiley face. I don't know. I don't think that's a guy.
Yeah, the only reason I think it's a guy is because they use the hyphen for a nose on the smiley face.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Girls don't do that shit, you know?
All right.
I don't know.
That's a guy thing, and that's like a guy thing. That might even be like I don't know. That's like not even a guy thing anymore, I feel like, you know?
But there's no hint of gayness. There's
that's
no
what I'm saying.
reference to gayness, you know?
Gay guys don't write like this. I'm sorry. I know I'm talking about how lesbians and gays write. Some people are going to get really mad, but
that's true. I hadn't considered the name in that context.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I just don't hear. I don't hear a gay man come on in this. You know.
Right. I feel like there would have been some reference to it at least.
The gay guy would have winked at least.
Yeah, definitely.
The gay guy would have winked, for sure at Malcolm.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yes. Again, because not to be stereotypical, but they tend to be a little to the point. If you know what I mean.
I'll do one last one just because I have always chuckled at the name of this mountain, which is Blue Job, but I call it Blue Job because I think that's how it's spelled and what it should be.
I read that title and I didn't know it was called Blue Job, and I was like, Blue Job Mountain?
It's a real mountain. I have been up it. I laughed the whole way up and down.
Yeah. Wow.
Never a new stream of Blue Job
Mountain
jokes when I was hiking that one.
That's funny.
It's called, you know how they're changing the names of mountains that are named after really offensive things and stuff like that, around the country and stuff. I'm not saying that that's a good practice, but if we're going to be doing that, change the name of Blue Job Mountain. Anyway, sorry. Please continue.
Blue Job. Blue Job Mountain. No, this is why I picked it. I mean,
yeah, I know.
Just as much to blame. Blue Job Mountain Mama. You were hiking with your kids earlier and we chatted for a bit. I was wearing the red flannel. You're absolutely gorgeous and I'd love to chat and hike with you some more. Send me a message of the mountain I recommended so I know it's you. Heart emoji.
Nice. Nice. I like that. Well, hopefully for Sam's last episode, we have brought the state of New Hampshire a little bit more love. And by canceling our own last episode, we have taken some hate out of New Hampshire. Sometimes fighting hate means fighting the hate within. And I am always striving to do that. Even when it's me doing it, as I said earlier, righteous anger is the worst kind. And we gotta calm the fuck down sometimes, right? And that's what I like. This is Sam, I hope this was a good way for you to go out, and I really appreciate you letting yourself be negotiated into a final episode. You know what I said to him though, guys, is I was like, if you just disappear, people are definitely going to think that like either we like threw you out for some reason, or more likely that you were like, I cannot be associated with these motherfuckers anymore. Sam's providing us cover by coming on here this week. No, but for real, he deserved the other reason though, as I said, he deserved a send off, and it wouldn't be right. Can you imagine after we've been podcasting for? It was the fall sometime. It was before Christmas because we were talking about Christmas presents for the gang. Remember? So it's been almost a year with Sam in the co-host chair here. And so if we were to just like the last episode, like episode 37, Sam wasn't in, right? So Sam hasn't been in it since episode 36. And then we come on, we cancel episode 38, and then we come on in episode 39, and we just sort of like read off a piece of paper, like it's like something the Soviets would do or something, you know? Comrade Abbott is not in the book anymore. We're gonna Photoshop. Actually, much easier today than it was in Stalin's day to Photoshop Sam out of the pictures. You know, we're gonna, like my profile picture on Facebook is of the night market. You know, and you can see Sam right there. We're gonna release a version with Sam out of it. You know, just like. But that's what it would have been like. I feel like if we just like announced it after, like, by the way, you're never going to see Sam again. All you fans of Sam out there, fuck, he's gone. He's gone. Buy a house if you want to talk to Sam. Otherwise,
the rumors about what would have been in episode 38, the unreleased episode. Right. My goodness.
Right. Okay. So that's going to be our show for this week. Thank you, Sam, for everything you've done for the show, everything you've done for Goldman Ad Knock, for Monadnock Underground. And like I said, you're not done. We're going to get you to do other things in the future. But for now, goodbye, farewell for now, with our gratitude and with our well wishes and blessings. We let you depart here, and we're very sad. Thanks as always to our sound lord, which I did say this to Sam already, but even our sound lord is sad that Sam is leaving. I gave him an early heads up. Our sound lord, Chad Patterson, who makes every episode possible, who was going to facilitate me editing myself if we did release episode 38. He can do it all. If you need to edit yourself on a recording that you've made, Chad can help. Chad can set up your audio. He can produce any audio. He can do mixing for you. He can provide consultation for you on how you might want to set something up or go about doing something through his organization, studio117.net, not .com. Easy to remember, really. You don't see a lot of .nets out there anymore. So studio117.net. And again, as we mentioned earlier, come see Down by 10 on 10/1 at Riley's Place, where sometimes people find love. Hot singles, there's more of them in Milford. If that's you, there's no dog park, guys. Come on down to Riley's Place, where it's all going to be happy. All right. That's our show. All of you out there, especially Sam, as you go on down the road. Whatever you do, wherever you go, take good advice. We'll see you back on the Space Lounge next week. Have a great time, and happy equinox. Goodbye.